first time on camera?
Yeah, it's a little bit stressful for me, but we'll manage somehow.
It's much needed after so many years of being an artist, being a legend of the cities all around the world.
Oh, I'm not really a legend.
Yes, underground legend.
Okay, that's better. Underground legend, yeah.
Yes.
Unknown legend.
Soon to be known.
Okay, I was born in Slovenia. It's a country in the middle of the Europe. I don't know, I have very beautiful, peaceful childhood. My mom and dad were common people, but they were very gentle and nice. Everything went fine. Okay, when I was young, I trained swimming. That was very important for me. I learned discipline, but it all broke apart when I was about 15. Then started puberty and yeah, and art.
And hormones.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess always, yeah. Always felt a little bit alienated. Yeah, I think I suffered a little bit for this, you know, always pretending to be normal, okay? But yeah, I always felt different. Always felt different now. It took me many years to accept this. But then I guess viš, ko mi kar zabremzajo besede, ne? Pizda, ne? Ja.
All good.
Ja, shit, ej. Ti si kar daj.
Super, ej. Super, so far so good. Very good.
Ja.
Zelo lep začetek, a? Zelo.
It was not really like an inspiration, it was a calling when I was very young. I don't know, I just fall in love with the art. I remember when I was 15, first I tried very hard with the music, but it didn't work out anyway. But after that I have fallen completely in love with the art. I remember I was 15, I bought, there was a book, big one, like A3 size, was called Fantasy Art, and it went through all the fantasy from Renaissance, from Bosch to Bruegel, to modern times, to symbolism and surrealism, 100 beautiful reproductions, and it was like my Bible at the time. I was looking through pages every day. Yeah, that time I realized, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that. So, in a way, it was given to me, or I was born for this. No. It's just a accumulation of all the small influences, never something, I would say, big influence, never was some big influence, but accumulation of small ones now. Like when I was young, of course I had my heroes. One of them was, I remember, was Jean-Jacques Cousteau. He made these amazing underwater movies, so I was dreaming I would be like Jean-Jacques Cousteau, and so it's one of my icons. I have I have a picture of him, of course. But then, yeah, always it's music, it's movies, it's just life. It's just life. There's so many artists I adored. The ones who were maybe important for me, which still reflects probably in my work. Yeah, like all maybe symbolism art, surrealism. Like I said, I like all those symbolist artists like Becklin, Moreau, and then like surrealists like a la De Chirico. De Chirico is maybe important for me. Like he made those mental places, maybe Magritte, so many others, but no one like special in that.
All combined.
All combined, of course, yeah. Nobody was like my idol or I just always wanted to do it my way. A great artist. Nothing else, yeah. Started in secondary school, and I stopped many times. Especially when I had cancer, I didn't smoke for 7-8 years. But yeah, I started again. I guess I'm really addicted to cigarettes.
Cigarettes and coffee and alcohol?
Yeah, alcohol less and less, yeah, but cigarettes and coffee, yeah.
Is it a necessity for an artist? It's like a trope for artists that smoke and drink alcohol.
I think it goes together very well, yeah. Always science fiction movies now. The favorite would be Blade Runner. Blade Runner, it moved me a lot in that time now. I saw it for sure for 10 times. Okay, of course, Star Wars. Star Wars saga, that was fantastic now. Of course, when I was young, Space Odyssey. No, Kubrick is amazing. And later, of course, yes, Interstellar, Inception.
Dune?
Dune now, yeah. Dune's very, yeah.
David Lynch's Dune or...
No, Lynch's, no. The new ones now. Lynch's were not particularly good.
So the newest Dune.
Yeah, I mean, it's book. It's very complicated, so complex book. So I think it's very hard to translate into the movie now. At the moment, no. In the moment, I'm painting, but I did a lot of reading, especially when I had cancer, with nothing else to do. So I bought myself a huge collection of sci-fi. So I had finally time to read. So I read so much science fiction now. Yeah, I read all the classics from Asimov, Clarke. And lately I enjoyed all the new ones, especially English ones like Alistair Reynolds, Hamilton, Ian Banks. Yeah, they're great books now. Great for imagination. Yeah. When I came to London, I had some contacts, so I was for a couple of weeks living with a friend of a friend of a friend. He accepted me. But then his friends find me a place in a squat. That time I didn't know that exists, those places. And so I moved to squat. It was 3 houses in a row, squatting houses, and it was beautiful. People from all over the world just moving in and out. Lots of artists, musicians, one Tai Chi master, I don't know, some crazy New Zealand girl. Just so many people now, and also a lot of parties, of course, together, and yeah, it was a great time, yeah. It goes like this. Always start with the idea, like emotion. I feel the mood, and then it's not like a story, but images appear. Everything in my life is connected with paintings, yeah. So in the morning, still in the bed, in a dreamy state, I plan what I will do in the day. So usually I visualize colors, brush strokes, and simulate them in my mind. And then I start to work. No, but usually I start to do it around 2 in the afternoon, you know. Then I start to paint, and usually goes till midnight, you know. And when I go to sleep, like in the bed, again, just thinking about the paintings, not about like paintings, about atmospheres. That's the most important for me now. How to make a certain feeling in the painting now. I try to work like every day. Okay, I don't paint every day, but in a way, I take it as a job, and I do it like 40 hours a week. So it's a job for me now. It's a job, and of course, much more now.
Yeah. Why do you see it as a job? Is it because you want to stay consistent? Or because
yeah, it makes my living. It's my living. So it's a job. Everything you do, it's a job, nah? Whatever you do, nah? So it's a job. But of course, it's not. It's being an artist. It's never an ordinary job, nah? It's more like a vocation. You live it. No? You live it 24 hours. You dream it.
You cannot take vacation from being.
No. I did it for 10 years, but it was terrible. I was so lost completely, nah? Yeah, just cannot do anything else now. No, it's like it's haunting all the time. It's haunting me now. You feel like hunger inside needs to be fed.
So if you don't paint for, let's say, 14 days, how do you feel? Do you feel normal? Is it okay?
No, it's okay, of course. Like especially, I paint most in the winter time, but it's nothing else to do, so I work a lot. But in summertime, of course, I take vacation. I go. Oh, it feels okay, but I'm painting my mind anyway all the time now. So like when I had 10 years break, when I started again, it was like I was painting all the time. Now, when I just picked the brush, it was so natural again, so beautiful. Now. That was something that stopped me for 10 years. I got cancer, a bad one, had lymphoma in final stages, so it took me 5 years to get through, and then came some years of depression and breaking up with my wife, divorce. Oh, that time I was really broken, man. That was just a few years ago. Yeah, then I started painting again. And I enjoy it. completely, more than ever now.
Back to real life.
Back to real life, back to my real life, yeah. So now I want to use it really squeeze every day.
Take advantage.
Yeah. More or less, it's always start with the feelings of atmosphere. With atmosphere, and then some images come, and then I start, I don't know, the picture slowly crystallize, and then I start hunting for images. I use images just from everywhere, all the media, my drawings. I have big collection of, I don't know, of photos of images. It goes in tens of thousands. Sometimes I go through this stock of images. Yeah, and then I combine all this, in my paintings, of course. Yeah, I would say that, yeah. I don't know, it's not really like a style. Okay, in style it's, okay, it's figurative, obviously. I paint in series, so I feel more like every series I paint, I decide in which style, what technique I will use for this certain series. So I feel more like designing a series. So I feel more like a designer of painting in a way now. I do also a lot of commission work, and for commissions I have to change the style non-stop. So I'm using, I would say, all historic styles in my paintings now. But now in the moment, in the last area, which you can see, this one, only in the beginning, I'm going a little bit more abstract now. So I would say at the moment, like abstract figurative now. I started with the first one, like all my this opus I name Liminal Archives. It's exploration of liminal states. And it started with the first area, which I later called, I didn't know what was doing that time. Was no concept or something like that. I always work with intuition. Okay, I trust my intuition, and it's like a voice. Yeah, okay, you do this now. So later I call this area Awakening now, and then I realized what I'm doing. The next area was okay. I said this is now my base. The next area was like foundation. Then came Beyond Horizon. Beyond Horizon, yeah. The next one was Destination. Now, after 10 years of break, now I named it just Continuum. No. But these are just names, not important. It's all very cohesive body of work altogether. Now, all the series are just fragments of something bigger now. I live with music, more or less, non-stop since I remember myself now. Very rarely that I'm painting silence. It's always the music with me now. I don't know, in the morning I start with some easy chill music. Through the day, it's rock, it's dub, but when I really start, when the evening comes, then I go to some ambiental electronics. There's just so much beautiful music today now. And these platforms like Spotify is just great. You can reach just all the music that exists now. So I used to have a collection of, I think, more than 3,000 LPs. Yeah. But yeah, I sold them. Oh, no, never traveled much. No, I'm not a traveling guy. No, 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 no.
You just traveled for necessity.
No, I didn't do a lot of traveling. No, I'm just satisfied to. I travel inside, so it's enough for me. Of course, it's beautiful to see the world, but I don't have a big need for traveling now. I always prefer to stay in my studio and just do the work now. Don't have need for traveling. Yeah, of course.
When you were younger?
When I was younger, yeah, of course. I did it more, yeah. But mainly Europe. Don't really remember dreams in that way, no? I remember fragments now. Like I trained my mind for years. When I was young, I remember I was reading some Nietzsche, and he said one beautiful thing: when you stare or gaze into the darkness, into the abyss start to gaze back. And I took it very literally, and I started like in the bed, in this pre-sleep dreamy state. I started to gaze into the darkness, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah, and then slowly some images form now. Images form, sometimes, not always. Windows open. They open like sometimes like an eye, like a square, a rectangle, and I see very brilliant, usually fragments of strange landscapes, very rarely some images of foggy, but these landscapes are really, really shiny, like neon-like landscapes now. Yeah, that's kind of inspiration, no? Not inspiration, but yeah, I take these moods, these atmospheres, these colors. Yeah, it's like it's my process now. And that another, yeah, probably another dimensions. Yeah, I don't know. It's all here. It's all here, beside us. There are so many people who can access really another dimensions. People can do real time traveling. I don't have this out of body experience. I'm always in my body, or in dreams probably go out of the body. I don't know, probably. So yeah, those places exist definitely now. I don't see them, but I feel them. I feel them all the time now. There's something beside us now. Yeah, I took these exams for Academy 3 times. First time in the finishing of the secondary school, and then that time when I was young we still lived in Yugoslavia, and boys, we had to go in the army. Okay, it was for 1 year, and when I was in the army, I took another exams, and again not accepted. Then I started to study art history, but it's only for 2 months. It was extremely boring. And Saturday I just want to be an artist, so I took exams one more time, and I was not accepted. But it was hard for me that time, because I wanted to do it so much. But then I decided, okay, assholes, I will do it myself now. Then I decided that I have to move somewhere else. Yeah. Then I went to Libya. And I was there in Libya for half a year, working in a kitchen, peeling tomatoes. But was good experience. Nah? I earned a lot of money, so I got the basics that I could move. Nah? So then I traveled for, I don't know, 3 months around Europe. But I said, it's enough. I have to move somewhere and start to paint. That time the obvious choice was London, with all the music, with all the concerts, with all the great galleries, and then I moved to London now, and then I started. Then that time, my journey, my art journey started now. Yeah, it was stimulating then. It was hard, but very stimulating. Okay, and then having a cancer for many years was hard. It stopped me for 10 years, but I came out stronger and better. So yeah. That time in Libya, I had, it's not really traumatic for me, but was moving experience. Like I had 3 friends who went for a walk in Oasis. It was like 7 kilometers. They went for a day trip, and then the very bad sandstorm came, and it was impossible to search for them till the morning. And in the morning, we found them. 2 were dead, and this friend of mine was still hardly alive, still breathing. So we saved him. So I made that picture. Then that time with Sahara sand and glue and these skin and bone images now. No, it didn't really traumatize me, but I was moved by what forces the nature now. This was this moving experience. I saw how fragile we are now in our bodies.
What would be your perfect way to kill yourself? Have you ever had any?
I had suicidal thoughts, yeah, of course. And my idea was to spread big canvas, like, I don't know, 5 by 10 meters, big enough, and I would jump from, I don't know, from 10th floor and spread myself on the canvas. But I don't have those thoughts anymore. No, I think it's stupid. It's stupid. But I understand how it goes. Yeah, many artists do suicides. Yeah, I think maybe life gets too hard. Being different, it's hard to live. Being an artist, it's difficult to live in a real life now. Too much darkness.
Do you like black humor?
Hmm?
Do you like black
Oh yeah, of course. No, but I guess it's too much darkness in the mind. When you spend too much time in dark places, then you start thinking about suicide, yeah. I don't think my paintings are spiritual. I mean, yeah, of course, every art is spiritual. It comes from spiritual world now, but I don't try to paint them spiritual. No? I just make conditions that spiritual can emerge from it now. But then it's up to interpretations now. But yeah, I try to make conditions for spiritual, yeah. You know, the process of creation is always mystical, especially I think for me as a painter. You're always alone in the studio, so usually when I paint, the time disappears. Just go in the flow. I lose control. I let it lose control. So yeah, it's a process. Yeah, it's a spiritual process, I guess. You kind of remove yourself somehow and just let it flow through you. No? I mean, every art, I think, every good art comes from kind of channeling. No? I mean, I believe the ideas exist in some field, and you connect to this field, and the ideas come from there now. I don't think it comes really from my mind now. Omo is my off project, which I do last couple of years, last 2-3 years. I put a lot of time in it. Like, I think 10 years or more ago, I made one in a series of pastels. I did one beautiful figure, and it was haunting me for years and years and years. I have to do something with this figure. And then after this 10 years break, I started with this Omo. I bought myself a really big pack of papers, and it took me, I don't know, weeks and weeks that I started. Every day I thought what to do. But then one day came, I was with the pencil, the ideas just started falling. And I remember I just started drawing, half with eyes almost closed, and it was Omo coming. All this world around him, I called it Omoria. Yeah, after that I started to enjoy this process, yeah, and I started to do it every day now. So this is like this pastel, like a prototype for Omo. I thought it's a very beautiful figure, so as I said, I wanted to do something with this. Yeah. After the first those drawings, then I named it Omo. Omo is not a being, like an entity, a symbol of light, love and creation. Omo is, in my drawings and paintings, is traveling through galaxy, creating new planets. He's always carrying, I call them Aya balls. They are like seeds of new creation, and spreading these balls around the galaxy, bringing new life. It's like some panspermia, something like that now. In the last couple of years, I did a big body of work with this Omo, hundreds of drawings, mainly small paintings, some bigger ones. No, it doesn't appear in this my liminal archives. No, this is completely a different project. No? But I had an idea, like in this painting, which I have just started. You see Yoda there now. The first idea was to use Omo, but slowly will probably appear also in these paintings. Now. But in this one, I went for Yoda. My vision is to use it, I think, the body of work that I did by now is perfect for merchandise. I think I can use it for t-shirts, for posters, for these color books, animation, and so many other things now. Now I'm in a now I'm in a new project, so I'm always waiting. Maybe this year I start again with Omos, but now I'm this new series Continuum, and so I'm completely into this now. Love, beauty, compassion, empathy, and imagination, especially imagination. In normal world, everything is possible. Everything is possible. Almost for everybody. Almost just for everybody, yeah. It's nothing like the best day in career, huh? It's like every sold painting, it's a best day. I think for every artist, of course, nah? Yeah, maybe, or for me was maybe the most satisfying big commissions like I did. The company for wall paintings, some of them were really big, like 100 square meters, 200 square meters. Yeah, finishing those works, yeah, that was that was good experience, yeah, very gratifying. Yeah? Live and let live. That would be, I think, the essence, yeah. Art is around us everywhere today, not only paintings. I mean, everything is designed today, so all is art, and from architecture to design. So I think the world will be extremely boring and flat without art. Yeah? So I think art is necessary for human beings, for all the humanity. Yes, we cannot live without it now. I did a lot of renovations of pubs, restaurants, but these wall paintings were mainly done for bigger places like big fitness center, cinema complexes, hotels, casinos, big villas. You know.
What in which country?
Okay, some here in Slovenia, but the biggest one, I think, I did in private villas, and I did in Germany. I did a lot of work in Germany. Everybody has some wishes. Just so different. Always something that fits the place. Or sometimes it serves as a background. Sometimes really like an art piece. Yeah, with commissions, yeah, it has to fit with the place now, with the use of it. The process, yeah, always the last one. At the moment, this one. Okay. That's about decisions. There are two biggest moments with the paintings. It's like birth and death, you know. Starting a painting, it's a decision where to start, how to start. To know when it's finished, for me, it's like I have nothing more to do. I mean, not to do, but you feel it's finished, whatever you do, it will not improve the painting now. So you know, then I know it's done. Yeah, I have some, who follow me through all my phases, and they want paintings from each phase. So they keep coming back. We have long-lasting relationship. They keep calling me when we have something new. Yeah. I have one collector in Germany who calls me No Hope. when he sees my paintings, he sees No Hope. And he calls me No Hope now. He bought a lot of my paintings there. He calls me, hey, you have some more New Hope. Love for art, definitely. They all have big love for art now. They buy my paintings. I think they feel attached to them. Sometimes it's the colors, it's the mood, it's the atmosphere, it's the images. But mainly they see all my body of work, and they want, it's like pieces of puzzle now. And they want to have that exactly piece of puzzle now. Oh yeah, for commissions, yeah. For commissions, they ask sometimes strange things, yeah.
What was the weirdest one?
Make my wife name.
Oh, okay. I did that a few times. No, they have some weird ideas. Sometimes they have. Some of them, they know exactly what they want now. So they just gave me data. Yeah. The most daring piece?
Yes.
Oh, it's no one special. I mean, daring. I do some provocative paintings, maybe erotic. But I think today in painting everything is just a painting, so you can paint whatever is in your mind. So it's nothing. It's no excess, I think, in the painting. So I dare to paint just anything, any weird idea. No problems with that. It's just imagination. It's not real. On commission, for commissions, I like big walls. The bigger, the better. I enjoy working physically, to go in the painting, I like the vastness,
Vastness.
The bigger the size is, more you can put it, more ideas you can put in. So it's, for me, it's fantastic, yeah. I don't count so many. I did so many also work on commercial series. I mean, I support myself with more commercial series. Those I don't count, but I know about this, my liminal archives. This I know exactly. I think with the new ones, it's slowly going to 200. So it's quite a big body of work. I have websites there you can find my original paintings. I have also prints for more available price, of course, and I do commissions. So I do it exclusively for you, for anybody. So you can find me also on Instagram. You can DM me there. So I will get back to you. I mean, expositions in galleries. Oh yeah, of course. I had some expositions, not many, but now now I would like really some exhibition. I would like to see my complete body of work, maybe kind of a retrospective, or to see all the paintings from the 5 series in one place. I think that would be great. And that's my future plans. Oh, it doesn't matter really which country, where. Not important now. Remove all the assholes. No, but I would make a world nicer place. Would bring more compassion to this world now. I think that's it. Yes, but it's a different kind of power. It's not the power of control, but power to speak true and to create beauty for humankind. I think that's the real power now. I think it's a great tool, but it's in the end it's just a tool. It can never create. It can just generate. Of course, it makes beautiful things, but it lacks emotions. In the authentic work, you see traces of uncertainty, of so many decisions. I cannot achieve that now. So I think it would, in art, it would never really replace human touch now. Impossible now. But it's a great tool. Okay. I don't use it. I don't really need it. But in the future, I might use it for something. Yeah, why not? Now? I think it's nice. I think it brings like extension of the work and new perspectives for the paintings. Yeah, why not? No. Maybe a little bit, but not really. I think we are the creators of our own fate. So, of course, there are forces above us, but in the end, we make all the decisions for our lives now. That yes. I think to be an artist, you have to be born. You have to be born for it now. So that is a fate. Oh, I had some exhibitions in Holland, I think 3, 4. Exhibitions in France, some in Germany, some in Slovenia, but not much. Not much, yeah. Maybe 5. I would say one from each area. There always one. In each area is maybe one that shows the essence of this area now. No, it's all connected with economy. I mean, yeah. I mean, economy dictates the power to buy art and tradition. Yeah. Yeah, of course, economy rules now, because whatever we make, as much effort we put into the art, somebody must buy it. So it's connected to economy. No? So you see all the most expensive art are from the rich countries. No? Always coming from small countries, it's a bit of disadvantage, yeah, definitely. You need a strong economy to support your art now. But today, with all the social media, it gets much easier now. Most of the artists are very dramatic. Some more, some less. I don't feel dramatic, but a lot of artists definitely are, yeah. Totally introvert, no? I think most of the artists are, because you spend all the days by yourself, in your own thoughts. Yeah, so definitely introvert, no? No.
This is the first time.
It's the first time. I was avoiding it for years. Because it's a stress. It's a stress now. For me, it's very hard to talk about my paintings. I don't know why. It should be natural, but for me, it's very stressful now. But I will get better. I will get better. For art? Oh yes. Oh yes, definitely now. Also connected, say, with AI, with the help of AI, so many more people are getting creative now. So I think that's good.